everybody, and I welcome all of you to Online Study for You. So in this video we are going to discuss the Infosys exam question paper that was given on the 28th of September of 2020. So Infosys has conducted a hiring exam for the 2021 batch students. So most of our students have attended this exam, and it had consisted various sections: verbal ability, English ability, aptitude, and pseudocode, etc. So Pratik sir has covered the aptitude and has done the analysis as well. So in this video we are going to take a look at the pseudocode questions that were given. Okay, so these were given to us by students, and we are solving these questions for you guys for the upcoming exams to see how the questions were there. So on the first hand, what I would say is the questions were actually easy questions, but the way these questions were given was the questions were lengthy, and they had spin the question sentences such that students will feel that the question is very difficult. Okay, so let us go ahead and actually take a look at the question. So the first question goes like this: consider the given problem statement. Okay, so this is the problem statement. What does this say? Find the closest pair of points in an array of distinct points. Okay, assume that you will solve this problem by comparing all pairs of points. What will be the complexity of this approach is that they are asking. So option A is O of n, option B is O of n square, option C is cannot be determined, and option D is O of n log n. Now what is the problem statement here? First we need to know or understand what is the problem statement, what are we trying to solve, and then we can analyze the complexity. So what is the problem statement? So they have given this: the closest pair of points in an array of distinct points. That means that, let us suppose you have a x and y axis. Okay, you have a x and y axis like this. So here what it is there are some points. Okay, this is the x axis, this is the y axis, this is the negative x axis. Maybe you can also take negative y axis as well. So there are some points here. Okay, so you have to find one pair of points that are actually the closest. Okay, so these two points are very close to each other. You have to find this pair of points. Okay, distinct point they have said. That means that no two points will be same points. Okay, so the points will be distinct. You have to find the closest points. I hope you understood this. Now how will be the input for this problem, that you need to understand before understanding how to solve the complexity. For this, let us suppose we will have a two-dimensional array. Okay, let us suppose we will have a array called P, and this array will have a pair of x and y of points like this. Okay, so this will be x1 y1, x2 y2, okay, x3 y3. It will be like this and so on. Okay, so what that actually is, I hope you understood now. Okay, so let us suppose there is a point here. This is the x and this is the y value of this point. So for every point the x and y value are given. It may be positive, negative, or whatever it is. So what you have to find? You have to find the points. Let us suppose these 2 points, they are very close to each other. Let us suppose this is point x, this is point y. These two are very close to each other. You have to find which is the closest point. So how do you do that is, you have to find the distance between these 2 points. Okay, you have to find the distance between the 2 points. How do you find the distance between each 2 points? Let us suppose you have x1 y1 point, okay, and you have another x2 y2 point. Finding the distance between that is nothing but sum of the square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. This is mathematics. Okay, let us not worry about all this. Okay, this is, you need to know this. Whenever you go ahead and read this sentence, these all things what I explained should come in your mind. Next, what we have to do is we have to go further and analyze the algorithm. So now what you need to do is you need to read the next sentence. Assume that you solve this problem by comparing all pairs of points. So what actually you are doing is, let us suppose we have 5, 3, 9, 4, 15 comma 23, 19 comma 14. We have these many points. So what you are doing is first you are finding the distance between these two. Next you are finding the distance between these two. Next is the distance between these two. Next you are finding the distance between these two. Next you are finding the distance between these two. So you will have two for loops to do this, right? So you are comparing each and everything. This is very similar to in sorting algorithms. If you know sorting algorithm, if you know bubble sort, there also what you do is you compare every single element and you sort it. Here what we are doing is we are comparing every single element and you're finding the distance. That's it, the difference. Okay. So what is the complexity of this problem? The complexity of the problem will be O of n square. The reason will be because you will have two for loops, one for I is equal to 0 and up to n, and you will have another for loop in the code for j is equal to maybe I to n. Okay, this will compare every pair of points. Okay, that is why the answer for this is O of n square. Okay, so another trick is you don't need to know all this by just reading this statement. Okay, so by just reading this statement, comparing all the pairs of points, okay, you will come to know that you're comparing each and every single point in the array, and that is why your complexity will be O of n square. You will understand that. Okay, so let us move on to the next question. So this is the second question. Before moving on to the second question, we have a quick announcement. We have a Infosys pseudocode course. So if you go to our website onlinestudyforyou.in and go to the premium video materials, you can see here there is Infosys one day cracker course which consists of 66 plus videos where you can buy it for 249 rupees and you can watch this course. Okay, this is a very good course if you want to prepare for Infosys right now, the pseudocode one. Okay, so let us get back to the question solving. So let us read the question first. So class A contains two methods, namely me and C. Class B inherits class A and overrides the C method. Class C also inherits class A. Now class B and class C both are inherited by class B using the concept of multiple inheritance. Now in the given scenario, identify the problem generated by the behavior of the C method. So the given options are option A coherence problem, option B dexterity problem, option C diamond problem, and option D cohesion problem. Now what are they saying here? They're saying that there is one class. Okay, there is one class called class A which has two functions. One function is called me and it has something, and another function is called C. Okay, there are two functions. Now what happens is there is another class B which inherits from class A. Okay, that means this class B will get the me function and C function as well. Now there is something called as overriding, function overriding. I hope you know what that is. I'm not going to explain that. It overrides the C function and defines its own method for class B. There is also class C which, as shown here, class C, what it does, it also inherits from class A. So what happens, class C will also get the me function, this me function, and class C will also get the C function, that is this C function. It is not overriding it. Next what happens is interesting. Next what happened is, class D, both class B and class C are inherited by class D. That means what happened is, you had another class called D which inherits class B and class C both. Now what happens is, a problem is going to arise. Okay, so what is the problem is that they are asking. So let us suppose this is class A. Let us draw this. Okay, if you draw this you will come to know the answer. Now class B is inherited from class A and class C is also inherited from class A, right? Next what we have is, we have class D which is inherited from both class B and class C. This is called as multiple inheritance. This multiple inheritance is available only in C++. It is not available in Java, although Java is an object-oriented programming language. Now, what is the shape of this? This is the diamond shape. Okay, that is why this problem is called as the diamond problem. Okay, now what problem is happening here? We need to understand that. Okay, not only just answering the question, you need to know the concept. Now, what problem is arising here is that, see here, class A has what methods? Me and C method, right? Class B will also have the me method and C method, although this class B has its own overridden method, no problem. Class C will also again get the me method and the C method. Now, since class D inherits from both class B and class C, it will have two copies of class this me function and C function, one from B and one from C. This will create a problem, or this will create one error. That error is known as the diamond problem. Now, what me function will the class use? See here, what happens is this C function is different from this C function, this C function, because this C function was transferred here, but here this was the overridden method. Now the definition of this function will be different. Now, which definition will this D use? Because they have the same function name, right? So this will create an error. That is why, because of this diamond problem, Java will not support multiple inheritance. Java creators said that we will not use this concept at all. Okay, to solve this problem, so the answer for this question is diamond problem here. To solve this problem in C++, they created one method. Okay, I'll just introduce you about it. I'll not explain how that method works, why it works and all. So they created a method concept called as virtual inheritance. Okay, so what do you do in this virtual inheritance? I'll tell you here. So the answer is diamond problem. You created class A, okay, while creating class B and while creating class C. From class A, here you're inheriting, right? So this will have the me function, this will have the C function. Now whenever you are creating these here, you mention using a virtual keyword. Okay, you say this is a virtual inheritance. Say for example like this, class virtual class C inherits class A. Okay, that is how you mention this. Syntax may be different, but this is the concept. Okay, so you mention the using the keyword virtual, then you inherit D from BC. What virtual keyword does is it will only keep one copy, okay, using a V table, that is a virtual table. That is the more implementation of this virtual inheritance, but this will solve it. Okay, this virtual inheritance, you can read more about this. This is out of scope for this question, but the answer here is the diamond problem. This problem is called as the diamond problem. Let us go to the next question. The next question is, what will be the output of the given pseudo code if n is equal to 10? So let us see the pseudo code. The pseudo code goes like this: read n, initialize I to 5, while I is less than n, do increase sum by I, increment I, end while, write sum. Okay, so what is going to happen? Option A 35, option B 25, option C 45, option D 55. So what is happening here? So as you can see, they have given that you will read n in this code. So they have given that n is equal to 10 will be passed. Let us track this code. Easy, right? Let us just track this code and we will be able to solve this. So we will declare n and we will pass 10. initialize I to 5. So you created a variable called I and you initialized it to 5. While I is less than n, so this is a while loop here. So this is the looping code you need to know. So while I is less than n, so what is the value of I? The I value is 5. 5 is less than n. N is 10. So this is true. The first time it became true. So it will go here since it is true. Okay, then it will go from here till here. It will go back to condition checking. Increase sum by I. So sum is a variable. They didn't say that sum will be initialized with 0, but let us understand that. So increase sum by I. What is the value of I? 5. So if you increase the value of sum by I, that means you are assigning 5. Next, increment I. So you increment I to 6. Next you go back. You are checking 6 is less than 10. True. So you come down. Increase sum by I. So 5 plus 6, that is nothing but 11. Come down, increment I. So this became 7. You go back and you check 7 is less than 10. True. You come down, increase sum by I. So 11 plus 7. So 11 plus 7, nothing becomes, this becomes 18. Come down, increment I. This becomes 8. So you go back, check the condition. 8 is less than 10. Condition is true. Come down, increase sum by I. 18 plus 8 is nothing but 26. You come down and increment I. I becomes 9. Go back and check the condition. 9 is less than 10. True. So come down, increase sum by I. So 26 plus 9, you get 35. Increment I. I becomes 10. So you come here and check the condition. 10 is less than 10. Now the condition becomes false because 10 is equal to 10. So what happens? It comes out and it says write sum. What is the value of sum? The value of sum is 35. That is given in option A. So option A, 35 is the answer for this given pseudocode. Very simple. They have just given a simple code, a simple input, and you have to answer it. Okay, so that is it for this video. We have come to the end of this video. So if there are more questions, we'll upload another video regarding these Infosys examination and the questions. So you guys have to crack the examination, and that is our intent. So do check out our Infosys Cracker course. Do check out all other courses for different TCS examinations, etc. are coming. So I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep preparing.